Hi guys, meow meow, welcome back to my channel. My name's Emily and today I'm going to be telling you guys the story of my concussion. First of all, I would like to apologize for the crappy lighting. I'm so sorry that my window just had to be placed here. I'm sorry that it looks like I'm glowing all of a sudden, so yeah. Hang on, maybe I can fix this. Well, and there we go, I fixed it as well as I could. We had to tie up my curtains because there's the heater and you don't want it to catch on fire or whatever, but I don't think it would. Anyways, so let's get into the video. Sorry about that, I thought I saw something outside. Anyways, so this starts out when I was 5 years old or 4, I don't remember. But there was one day, it was like November, so we were going shopping with my mom and my dad. And we went to this old store. It's shut down now, but it sold all kinds of things. It sold craft supplies, toys. I think it sold furniture. It's kind of like an everything kind of store. And near the end, I saw a really cool beanbag chair that I had wanted. It was in the shape of a basketball. There was also one in the shape of a soccer ball, but they were really cool to me. And my dad was at the back of the store. And he was, I don't know, looking at something. So I go running, and I say, Dad, you have to come see this. Come here. And he's coming up slow as possible, of course. And then I just remember tripping over a lady's foot. So this lady, she was like looking at something and her foot was kind of like out, so she was like standing facing the thing, and her foot, one foot was like, one leg was straight, the other one, her foot was kind of like bumped out from the back. It wasn't on purpose, she was just standing that way. And I come running a little too closer, and I tripped on her foot, and I didn't have enough time to catch myself, and I hit my head very hard onto the concrete floor. And all I remember is just immediately feeling like a headache and like dizzy and sick, like a very nauseous feeling. And I just remember crying. And my mom comes running over. She's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And the lady's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't see her." And in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, right, lady. Tuck your foot in. There was no reason for her to be standing like that. Or I don't remember. Maybe I could have tripped on the wet floor. Maybe I slipped over my own feet. I don't know. But then my mom, we all were just like, okay, screw the shopping trip, we gotta take her to the hospital. So we go to the hospital. And when we get there, I was immediately being taken into one of the waiting rooms, which is rare for the hospital I go to. So I was like, okay. I didn't know what a concussion was, so I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what I had. I just felt terrible. And when we got there, into the waiting room, I immediately threw up all over the little bench, and they were like, okay, we think that she definitely has a concussion now. So I was taken to another room. Well, not a room, it's one of the ones with like the bed and like the curtain. So yeah, I was put in there. And I remember them trying to like give me like fluids or like popsicles and stuff to like eat and drink. And I couldn't keep anything down. I am sorry to the janitor lady. It was the same one. I remember her. She came in a couple of times. Kudos to you. I'm sorry that I got sick a lot. I had never thrown up before as much as that in my life. And I had never felt so awful either. You know, it was weird. They had like the little clip-on thing on my finger, and I remember it had like a little soccer ball on it. That's weird. A soccer ball was the beanbag chair, and it was also on the little thing. It was like a little sticker or something. And so then one of the nurses comes in. She's just like, okay, well, she definitely has a concussion, so we're gonna actually have to send her in the ambulance and send her to the children's hospital, which was quite a ways away. So I'm thinking in my head, cool. Where is this children's hospital again? Because I didn't know. I had never been there before. And I'd also never been in an ambulance before. So that was pretty cool. I was on like a stretcher and stuff. I felt like pimped out, you know what I'm saying? I was like on the stretcher thinking, oh, look at me, I'm so cool. And I had like a concussion. Anyway, so I was in the ambulance and I did not throw up on the way there. However, I remember they would not let me fall asleep, and that's because if you concussion and you fall asleep, you, I think you die or like it like impairs your brain or something. Um, I don't remember. All I remember is I got like a little teddy bear in the ambulance there, and only if I could find it, if only I could find it, that would be the best thing in the world ever. And on our way to the children's hospital, there was an accident. My dad was following in the car behind us, and he got like held up by the accident, or like got out because of the accident of the car. So he was a bit late coming to the hospital, but I remember going to the children's hospital, and the next part I remember is being in a wheelchair. The reason they wanted me in a wheelchair was because in case I had a concussion, they wouldn't want me to like get up too quickly or pass out or like fall over again and make it worse because of like the impact when you fall. So I remember being in a like a little wheelchair, and I remember there was like a boy and his two parents, and they were like standing somewhere, I guess, in like the entranceway. And the boy pointed, "Mommy, look, that girl's in a wheelchair." And in my head, I'm thinking, don't point at people in wheelchairs and just say, "Mommy, that girl's in a wheelchair." The kid was the same age as me, though. I wouldn't mind, but I mean, still, his parents are like, "Oh, you don't have to say that," you know. But yeah, I was okay with it. But I mean, like, I'm sitting there in the bear with my chair. I'm sitting there on the chair with my bear, and I get like rolled in, I guess, to like this room. It had a TV, which was pretty cool. Um, so I was like watching I was watching like a show on the TV, and I'm just kind of sitting there like, this is nice, this is nice. I didn't sleep at all that night, but I didn't care because I was having an okay time because my mom was there. And that was really helpful to me. I think if I would have been alone, I probably would have fallen asleep and died, but my mom was there, and I had someone to talk to, something to do. I had that tiny TV that was like this big to watch a random show on, but I didn't know how to change the channel because I couldn't find the remote. And I was 5 years old and didn't know how to work a remote. Anyways, I don't remember too much except for the fact that they just kind of gave me more fluids and stuff and all that. And they were like, I don't remember if I got a CAT scan or like an X-ray of my brain or not. I mean, an X-ray of my skull. Um, I remember they said it wasn't cracked. One of the nurses said, "Oh, she doesn't have a cracked skull, but it's terrible. My son, he had a concussion. He cracked his skull." And when I said she cracked her skull, I thought that cracking your skull meant that you immediately would die. And that's the day I learned that cracking your skull does not immediately kill you. It can if left untreated, but doesn't do that immediately. So I was immediately, relieved. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be fine. And when they said I could go home that morning, it was very, very early. It was, I think it was around 4 when we left the children's hospital to go back home, and it was around 6 when we got home. Anyways, back to the nurses. I remember sitting on like a little side bed. They like gave me like 2 little cups of like medicine that was like drinkable. I remember it didn't taste too good. One tasted like really watered down honey. The other one tasted like very sweet. But eventually got them into me, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. And I remember having my froggy blanket and my bear, and it was it was an event, I'll tell you that. And I slept very peacefully on the way home. They finally allowed me to go to sleep, so I'm like, yes, sleepy time. I was very tired. Very, it was all chill. And then when we got home, when my grandma was still alive, rest in peace, Grandma, I love you, but there was one thing that she forgot to do. Everybody was aware at home, my brothers, my grandma, my mom had, I think, called them, or we stopped into the house quickly before we went to the hospital. I don't know. but they were just aware that I had that I was like had a head injury and we would be out for we didn't know how long at that time. But um, so my grandma would lock up the house at night, right? And I guess she didn't hear us exactly when we arrived home, so we were kind of like the door's locked. So we kind of like knocked a bit, and my grandma had this set of like wireless headphones sometimes on, and she didn't hear our knocking, so we had to go to the front window and we were like, Grandma, Grandma, we're home. I'm okay. And she comes to the door. Oh, Emily, are you all right? I heard you had a concussion. Is everything okay? And that was so sweet. I miss her so much. She was a lovely lady. Um, um, yeah, that was the story of my first concussion, and I just remember coming home and being comforted by her. And I remember, I think I can say that I have survived having a concussion before. And I can also say that it is not an enjoyable experience and that it is, well, uh, you know, when you have a concussion and you gotta do a bunch of stuff, you gotta take that medicine, you gotta go through all these things, you can't fall asleep, it's recommended that you avoid screens or blue light for that matter. And like, all that stuff. It's a very cruddy experience. I would not wish a concussion on my worst enemy. But there is always good to the bad side. The good side was I got a teddy bear. I got to snuggle with my froggy blanket on the way home. The paramedics were really epic and cool and very great. Appreciate all you paramedics. Appreciate the nurses that helped me and gave me the medicine. And I appreciate the janitor lady who had to clean up my throw up. And I do not appreciate the lady who had her foot out in the aisle. You should not be standing like that. Or I should have been watching where I was going. Maybe it's my fault, but I was 5 years old. Anyways, that was very rude. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, you guys. And if that little boy ever remembers this, he probably won't. I don't know what his I don't know what his name was, but yeah, this is me now. I was that girl in the wheelchair. So hello if you're watching this video, which is probably very coincidental. Um yeah. Yeah, it was fun. I feel like I'm forgetting something to say. Um what was I gonna say? It was like, oh, this upcoming November would be the 10th anniversary of my concussion. 10 years since my last head injury. Yay! 10 whole years. 1, 0, 10, 10, 10. Now I'm just rambling on and on. I gotta end the video before I end up making a whole documentary on my life. Well, see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Rock on. Yeah. Happy Halloween. That's supposed to be a bat, not a bird. Bye. She said, oh, look, almost stuff. She said, konnichiwa. I said, pardon my French. I said, bonjour, madame. And no matter where I go, you know I love them all.